Hello everyone and welcome back to another Universe Sandbox video, and today we're going to be doing an idea which one of you guys suggested on one of our recent video premieres, so massive thank you to Finian on YouTube for submitting this idea. And his idea was, you should make a system made out of hypothetical planets and planets that have been proven not to exist. And I saw this and I was like, I really like the sound of that. I think that's a really cool idea. So without further ado, we're going to hop straight into this. So, I've got a list up of some objects that I've found. Some of these I've never even heard of, but we'll try and include as many as possible, see how we go. Star-wise, I've picked the Sun, because if they're all planets that were thought to have existed around the Sun, I think the Sun is the logical star to pick. So, straight away, first of the objects, I think we'll try and work our way out of roughly where they'd be estimated as well. So, for instance, anything near the orbit of Earth, we'd try and put an 1 AU away. Anything past Neptune would do over 30 AU away. And we'll just try and sort of slot everything in and have it as almost like the hypothetical solar system. Hypothetical solar system. I can never... Right. Where are we? So, I think first up, it's got to be Vulcan. I'm sure we all know Vulcan fairly well, the hypothetical planet that existed between Mercury and the Sun. Smaller than Mercury, quite a small little rocky world, basically. I think its estimated size would be a little larger than Pluto, but obviously smaller than Mercury, so somewhere in there. I already have a custom one we can actually throw in, actually, so we might as well actually use that. So where are we? So Vulcan. Aha! So this was Minobat's competition winner, and I think this is the perfect object to have in here. So we'll place it, I mean, let's check the zone on. So Mercury would normally be, to have it a little closer, so it needs to be somewhere in the black zone, I guess, somewhere there. So here it is, so Minobat's Vulcan. And there you go. Check that out. So, obviously, if you didn't know, Vulcan, a hypothetical planet, that would basically have been between Mercury and the Sun. So, obviously, quite an interesting one. I think this one's got a lot of popularity over the last few years. A lot of people have mentioned it on my channel, saying Vulcan this, Vulcan that. So, yeah, should be quite an interesting one. But, yeah, believed to exist inside the orbit of Mercury. So, yeah, pretty cool. So, and the thing with this one as well is, people generally thought this existed for quite a while. I think it was Einstein's theory of relativity that eventually sort of obsoleted this theory. But I think people generally thought this object existed for quite a while. So, there is Vulcan. So, looking good. Have we got two versions of Vulcan? I just want to see which one. Because there is two. I just want to see... Are they the same? Oh, no, that one. I think that one looks slightly better, actually. Because it's got, like, the actual liquid on it. Oh, no, that just disappeared anyway. Oh, yeah, of course, because it's water, isn't it? Yeah, that would obviously go. That's just for visual looks. So, it doesn't actually run in the simulation, unfortunately. But there's Vulcan. So, I think what we'll do is... it's obviously losing a bit of material there. So, if we look at the radius, 0.3 Earth, so what is that in kilometres? So, I mean, that's roughly Mercury size. I think it does need to be a little smaller than that. So, pull it to... We'll keep it in the 2,000. We'll go 2,000, just 2,010 kilometres, so a little smaller than Mercury. I got to say, I'm not too keen on that bright yellow. I kind of want to tune that down a bit, so... I mean, if we're going all in, I think we should have more of a red, yeah. Oh, it has city lights as well. Hey, nice. But what I'll do is I'll stick with that. I'm not going to customize it too much. So it's basically a very hot rock, to pull it frank. So there it is. 700 degrees. I think that's fairly appropriate. Mass-wise, I kind of want to make this bigger just so it stops losing mass. What's it contain? Has it got any water? No. Okay. So I just want to make it bigger. So yeah, there we go. So we just stop losing material because it's just annoying for simulation purposes. So there we go. So there is Vulcan. So this was made by Minobat back in the competitions ages ago now. So there we go. We'll just have it as a Vulcan in here. So first of the planets, I think the trail colour, it's got to be like a hot red sort of orange colour. So we'll stick with that. So there is Vulcan. So first of the hypothetical objects added to our solar system here. So next up, there's one called Counter Earth. Now I have heard of this before. And it's basically a planet situated on the other side of the Sun from Earth. So effectively, you'd never be able to spot it because it's always on the other side of the Sun, directly opposite where the Earth is. So obviously, you'd never see it because it's behind the Sun. So pretty interesting stuff. So effectively, it'd be 2 AU away from wherever the Earth is. So for instance, we'll just use an Earth as an example. So we'll put the Earth, obviously, 1 AU where it normally sits. So where are we? So, so 1 AU, roughly there. Now, this other planet was theorised. It's on the exact other side of the sun. So say somewhere, 1 AU, so somewhere there. So if you're on Earth and you're looking at the sun, well, that other planet is always going to be behind the sun. I mean, we slightly got it off, but the other planet would always be behind the sun, so you'd never see it from the perspective of Earth. So quite an interesting one nonetheless. And obviously it'd be 2 AU away at all times, because obviously you got to make the initial 1 AU gap to the sun and then another 1 AU gap to the other opposite planet. So yeah, 2 AU away at all times. So in theory, the hardest planet to get to in the inner solar system, if you think about it. So anyways, well, we know the planet's got to be 1 AU away from the sun, roughly, because it's a counter-Earth, so it's always going to be opposite. So what should we use as a counter-Earth? I don't know much about how this planet would have been. Would it have been Earth-like? Not? What would it have been like? So I don't know. There's not much about it. It just, the information I found just says it would have been on the opposite side of the sun. Now, I have heard of this one before as well, but I don't know anything else about it. So I think what I'll do is I'll use a similar world. I'll use, where is it? Beowulf here. I'm going to use that, because that's like an Earth-like sort of planet I've got. So where are we? I want to see 1 AU. Hang on, why is that not? I think it's because I got labels off, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so 1 AU. We'll quickly put it to 1 AU. So this is a roughly an Earth-like world as well. So we'll stick with that. So we want 1 AU. Thank you. So 1 year orbit. Thank you very much. So orbital period 1 year. I think it's got a high greenhouse effect. That's why the zone's expanded. So obviously we'll have to tamper that down a bit. Where are we? So yeah, there's your problem. So let's just go to 1 ATM. That should help Beowulf out. So there you go. Press play, and we're going to call it well, as it's called, Counter Earth. So effectively it would always be on the opposite side of the sun. So there it is, looking good. So we'll let Beowulf cool itself down as well. We'll keep the city lights on, why not? So there we go. Let's see how that sorts itself out. So perfectly at 1 year to 12 months orbit. As you can see, it keeps going back and forth. I don't think the game can make its mind up. So there you go. So there is Counter Earth. So we'll let that cool itself down after a while. Let's just put it straight to 30. Hopefully it will sit somewhere there. 20. I mean, I want to keep it roughly at Earth conditions. So okay, that's cooling down. 10 should warm up from 10, surely. No, still losing a bit. Okay, just a little more atmosphere to it then. I mean, 1.2. Can we do that? No, 2. I don't want to kick it too high in gear. I mean, actually, no. What we'll do is we'll just leave it at 1, and then we'll just lower the albedo a bit. So that should be enough to keep it roughly where we want him. Oh, hang on. 10. Why is it dropping? Ah! 1 ATM. Lower the albedo more, I guess. Just trying to get it to... Oi! Don't do that. Remember, this is larger than Earth, so I guess the stats wouldn't be exactly the same. But, I mean, if it's a count... I mean, I guess we'd just try and make it roughly... Not exactly the same as Earth. We'll make it a little bigger then. So that should hopefully help it out a bit just with the size. Because if it's a smaller object, it should retain a bit more temperature, I'd assume. I mean, hopefully 15? Just keep it between 15 and 20. 10 and 15 is it's dropping. It's still getting... okay, I'll put it to 2 AU or 2 LS and just increase the albedo just to balance it out. 10.3, 10.4. Okay, so slowly warming up. So we'll let time play out. Just want to see if this behaves itself. So let's see, 60. It's a little too high for my liking. Just a tad more albedo to it. So oh, don't want to go that high. Whoa, 0.29. 14, 15, 16. Okay, a little more albedo to it. 0.3, 0.31. Hopefully enough to... 17.5 degrees. Yep, okay, we'll stick with that. Let's slow down. I want to add the water because I think the water did get a bit upset when we did that. So, okay, let's look underneath Beowulf's clouds here. So, okay, we need a little more layers. So, where are we? Let's go to surface. Let's just increase the sea level. Settle water. There you go, Beowulf. Excellent. I think we need a little more than that. There you go, that's more like it. It's nice big load of ocean there. Already got Earth-like conditions as well. Earth-like appearance, a nice green and yellow sort of mix there. The sandy, foresty appearance, so looking good. Nice atmosphere and clouds to go on top of it as well. Let's lower the ray light. There you go. More of a blue to it. Opacity will tune down as well, and there you go. There's a nice Earth-like looking world there. Clouds. We'll go storm and thick together. Probably one of my favourite combos actually. It's a nice, good looking world there. Very nice. So there is Counter Earth, and it's 43 degrees. No way. Let's go ahead and increase albedo further. 0.38. Okay, so we'll see how that's doing later on. Anyways, returning to the system itself. So let's continue. So what have we got next on this list? So interesting. I've never heard of this one. Fifth planet. Historical speculation about a planet between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. So we've got Planet 5. We've got Krypton. And then one called Phaeton, a planet situated between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter, whose destruction supposedly led to the formation of the asteroid belt. This hypothesis is now not possible, since the asteroid belt doesn't have enough mass to be part of a planet. Yeah, if you combine the asteroid belt together, you wouldn't get a lot of mass out of it. So, interesting. Huh. So we'll call it Planet 5, I guess. So, I guess it wouldn't be a large object. I guess it'd be a little larger than Ceres, because if you think about it, Ceres is the largest object in the asteroid belt. If this is supposed to be an object that's all of the asteroid belt combined, effectively it'd be a little bigger than Ceres. So, I guess we'll... do we use Ceres as a template? No, we'll go with someone fresh. So, random small moon, I think. So asteroid belt to Jupiter distance would roughly be somewhere there. Let's just add the asteroid belt just so we can really sort of work it out. So asteroid belt, where are we? There you go. Add to the sun. Okay, so yeah, roughly there. So we need to go a little further out actually. So we'll call it Planet V for Planet 5. And then we just need to increase this further into the asteroid belt orbit. So yeah, 5, it's just roughly 3 AU, isn't it? Yeah, cool. So delete that. We don't need the asteroid belt. Bye-bye. So Planet 5 over here. Right, now, so already got craters and stuff. Actually, that's a good looking world. All right, so let's try to change the colours to a more grey appearance. And I think we'll have a lot of craters. So I think we'll add some manually to this. Do you like the way it looks, though? Maybe, can we change the textures? Planet 15 and Planet 4. So what if I change these? So the craters disappear? Well, they do. So Planet 15 is one to keep. That's a keeper. What about Planet 4? So 16? Double 15. Ooh, lots of craters. Planet 14. And then we can obviously move this as well, can't we? So, oh, no, hang on. Offset. Yeah, there you go. So some craters inside other craters, and then we just need to change this so it all matches. So it's high in a low elevation, is it? So have some battered crater surface there. Yeah, I guess maybe a slight brownish shade to it. So something like that. High elevation is the white craters. Low elevation is that. So then we'll just change the middle elevation to whatever colour we want. That looks like it, actually. Maybe we don't need to add any craters to it. I think it's already got quite a nice look of craters there. Okay, so Planet 5. So if we compare it to Ceres. So let's go to the custom list. So Ceres is there. So there is Ceres. So it needs to be a little bigger than Ceres. So let's do this. So, and it's only going to be a tad bigger, but something like that. It's not going to be a big object at all, but let's say that. Just combine all the asteroid belt mass together. There you go. So, something like that. I think we'll stick with that. So, Planet 5. I think I'll save this as a custom once I'm finished with it, actually, because I don't have any sort of theoretical sort of... I don't even have an object for this, because I've never heard of this one. So, vegetation. Terrain? Could make the terrain a little... Yeah... Makes the craters look a little more... Oh, it does look good, doesn't it? But if you look very carefully, you actually sort of see the craters look a lot deeper when you increase this button. Look, that's really cool. It almost deepens the craters. There you go. I think that's a good looking, bashed up looking object. I don't think an atmosphere is really necessary. I mean, we don't know. See, there's not really anything about this. So in theory, we could be a little unique with it and give it a little something. So... ATM. I mean, it'd be 0, 0. Just something really simple. I don't think clouds though. No clouds. Definitely no clouds. So we'll just turn all that off. So yeah, just a faint atmosphere. I think just a sort of pale. Not really too much colour features to it, but just something fairly basic looking. So yeah, something like that. Okay, there you go. So there's Planet 5. So just something really, really basic, but quite nicely designed with the craters. Right, next up. So we actually need to go back to the Earth orbit here because we missed a very important one. And obviously, how could we forget this? It's Theia. We need Theia. We definitely need Theia. So, a Mars-like object that supposedly collided with Earth to form the Moon. There's a lot of theories roughly about it, but we've got to have Theia in here. So we're going to go ahead and place it. I mean, it's roughly around the orbit of Earth, isn't it? I mean, 1 AU is counter-Earth, so we could just play it roughly on the opposite side of counter-Earth. But yeah, just slightly different orbit. So I'll put it a little further out, because obviously the positions of the planets would have been different originally when this object was supposedly existed. So I'm going to place it there. So there's Theia. So it's on the opposite side, so it will take a while for counter-Earth to really match up with it. So here it is. So this is my old custom Theia, and it doesn't look anything like I remember it. Remember, it did have an atmosphere. I always had it. I always gave it a Mars-like atmosphere because it represented a Mars-like object. So my custom Theia's always had those, that Mars-y-like atmosphere to it. I'm not sure I like the surface texture. Kind of want to change that up. So, what could we go with here? We could have something quite interesting, actually. So, about Vesta and... Nah, that looks way too similar to Tethys. Mimas, no. I do want some craters, though, because craters always... You get a good look out of them, so... How about that? Nah, not Iapetus. Ceres, no. Callisto's always a good one for craters. Where's Phobos and Deimos? Because they're always good ones to go with. And Phobos. No. No, definitely not. Io, no. I want more sort of... The Moon? Could go with the Moon. What about the Moon and Mercury? That's always a good look of craters. Moon and Moon, Mercury. Get a lot of craters out of that. I think the Moon's got to go, though. Let's go with... What about the Moon Rhea? Yeah, that's a lot of craters. Yeah. Yeah, that does look good, actually. I'll stick with that. So, a world bashed with lots and lots of craters there. There's Theia. Okay. And then surface colour. We can change the terrain up. We have a... Ooh. That does look how cool that looks. But, somewhere there. I want to go overkill. And then colours, I mean, we'll keep it roughly, you know, where we are. So, there you go. But there is Theia. So, Mars-sized objects that may have collided with Earth. We'll give it a patch of water. I'm going to have it frozen. So, let's just see. I want to settle it first. I mean, you can't really see it because it's all frozen anyway. But for instance, if I did melt it, I mean, you can't even see it anyway. Actually, no, never mind. Because it can't even retain the water. No, that's fine. I'll stick with that. And then if we just look underneath, let's just make sure we get the colours. Maybe just have a little variety. Maybe we'll give it like a Mars sort of red. Or try and just give it a little bit of a Mars shade to it. Just to have a bit of a different colour to it. And then the others have them as white, I guess. Sort of mix them. And I think that red's a little too overpowering, actually. I think there's a little too much there. What if we put that back to that and then change this colour to... Yeah, see, I think that's a little more comfortable, not too much. Make this grey a little lighter. There you go. Still has the darker areas, and then obviously you plot the atmosphere back on anyway, and there you go. We'll give it a few clouds. Nothing over extreme, but just a couple in there. So you can see it should have some there. Fluffy and fluffy, we'll go with a thicker set. A pasty, we want our coverage will lower down a bit. So there's a few clouds there, and then we'll give it sort of a sort of almost Mars-like red, but not. Yeah, there you go. So there's Theia. Cool. So Mars-sized, it should be around a little smaller than Mars. Let's have a look. So that's Mars compared. Mars-sized, I mean, yeah, I'd roughly say, yeah, you could say that's a Mars-sized sort of object. So tad smaller, but there you go. So there's Theia. So we've got two sort of two big inner planets. We've got the one really close. Okay, so next up, what else is there? I mean, there's a lot of objects that are Neptune distance and beyond, so we're definitely gonna have a little look at there. So, okay, yeah, I think we've got to take quite a big jump out now to the outer solar system. So, first of all, an easy one to do. Planet 9. Obviously, we know roughly what Planet 9's orbit supposedly is. I mean, still unproven nor proven, but we're going to throw it in anyway. Planet 9, the classic. But I do have an upgraded Planet 9, if you remember. I've got my traditional one here, but there is an upgraded one we're going to use, which is this one. The Mega Realistic Planet 9. So we're going to go ahead and use that. So Planet 9, if I'm perfectly honest, I can't remember its actual orbit stats. So, ooh, what we'll do is we'll save the simulation, and then we'll go into a normal simulation. I'll quickly screenshot the stats of Planet 9's orbit, and then I can obviously use that to build the Planet 9 in this system. So we'll just call it Hypothetical Solar System. And I completely missed the... Why did I put cat block on? So there we go. So let me just go to my normal sim quickly, and then we can obviously go ahead and grab that. So name 32. So this is the latest version of my custom system, and then what I'll do is I'll quickly get a picture of this. So where is it? So Planet 9's over here. So this is the one we're talking about, the new customized Super Planet 9. Here it is, looks very, very nice. There's its stats there, which is what I need. So I'll quickly get an image of that on my phone here, and now go back to our other simulation and we can implement that correctly. So last modified. Okay, there you go. Looking good. So, Planet 9. Oh yes, so get rid of that, we don't need that bit. Press play just so that it ran. Okay, so it needs to be 7,338 years roughly. 378 AU, then this is 266, so we need to do the inclination first down here. So where are we? So this needs to be, so 0.00171 longitude. So this one here, no, not trigonometry, the one above, so longitude. This needs to be 347. Now why is that? Eccentricity, of course, that's a big one. So we need 0.296. There you go. So now we can add this value, which needs to be 356. So anomaly doesn't really matter because that's just where it's positioned in its orbit. But we'll put it in anyway. So the picture showed it was 2.98. So 2.98, 347, 356, 0.071, 0.296, and then over here it needs to be 378. So this needs to be 266. And the last value needs to be 489 or 490. Okay, that works. So if we look now, that should be the orbit we know, which is this. Obviously give it its good old Planet 9 blue as well. So roughly a colour sort of there. Cool. And if we're going with Roman numerals like we did with Planet 5, it was Planet IX. So basically meaning X is 10, 1 before 10, which is 9, IX. So there you go. So just checking that is all correct, isn't it? So motion. See, this doesn't really matter because it just is where it is in its orbit, if I remember right. Oh, well, that's not actually doing anything, actually, never mind. So we'll just leave that at 1.55 then. It's true anomaly, which is where it's positioned. So again, this value doesn't matter because that's just where it is in the orbit. So that's fine. 347, 356, 0.071, 0.296, 490, 266, 378. So there you go, there's Planet 9 added. Cool. So Planet IX. So 9. Excellent stuff. So, cool. So a big jump out to Planet 9 there. Okay, so next up we have got, obviously you got the traditional Planet X as well, the hypothetical planet beyond Neptune. So very, very cool. So this is what initially sort of got the search for Pluto started. So pretty cool. So where do I place Planet X? See, I haven't got a clue where the orbit of this would be. So we'll place it somewhere. Because remember, Planet X, and then there's also Planet 10, which we'll get to later. They are speculated as different theories. So effectively, we would have them as two separate objects. So Planet X. Well, it's going to be beyond Neptune. So I guess we'll plop it somewhere between... If it inspired the search of Pluto, then we're going to roughly put it sort of Pluto sort of to Eris sort of distances. Do I have a Planet X? No, I don't have a Planet X. Okay, so let's go with something random. I'll kind of use something inspired by the game Cell to Singularity. We did a video on it, or done videos on it before in the past, not for a while, because we're waiting for an update for that actually. But that Planet X in that game is basically like a purple version of Planet 9 sort of look. So we're going to go with like a purpled out gas giant and sort of go with that actually. So looking at a purple sort of one, I think they could look quite cool. So what about this one here? This one looks pretty cool. So let's place it there. I just want to see what it looks like. Does that look like a Planet X to you? No, I'm not feeling it. And is Planet X supposed to be a rocky or a gas giant? Because I don't know. That's interesting. Well, we've got Planet 9 as a gas giant. Planet 10, when we do that, that'll be rocky. I don't know. Do we make it a rocky or a gas giant? I really don't know. Is it going to be like a super Earth, or is it going to be a gas giant? See, again, we don't know because it doesn't exist. So, it's theoretical, so we can do whatever we want. So, it's my choice. So, but no, I'll go with the Cell to Singularity sort of one, which was a sort of purpled out dark gas giant. So, I'll go with a gas giant for Planet X. But it's just which one to use. We could always customize one, it is a different colour, but what about this one here? That one would be quite... How does that look? Let's have a look. Quite a dark coloured one. Also, it's going to be complete darkness anyway. There you go. Again, I'm not feeling that. I think I kind of want to build one myself, almost. Could re-customize something that already exists, really. I mean, there's the old Neptune custom. I really don't know. How do I want to build this? I mean, the choice is mine. Gigaman's 2 mass there does look quite good, actually. No, I'm going to use this as a Planet X. I remember this one. This one is quite a cool looking object. So, first of all, the mass is too large. So, we're going to go to, I don't know, I guess we'll make it a little bigger than Planet 9, which is like 10 to 15 Earth masses. So, I guess we'll make this about, I mean, I'm not going to make it Uranus or Neptune. Oh, Uranus and Neptune are about 13 and 17 respectively. So, I guess we'll make this around 12 masses of Earth. Radius. Oh, no way. So, radius we'll go with about... again, smaller than Uranus and Neptune, so about 11,000. Lock that and then put this back to about 11 masses or so. Planet 9 is 5 radiuses of Earth, so in kilometers that's 28,000 radius. So we'll make it a little bigger than that, maybe. Hang on, why is that 28,000? That shouldn't be that big. I think the size of that's wrong. That shouldn't be that big. That should be smaller than that because that's bigger than Uranus and Neptune. Let's just get a line up quickly. I just want to compare it to my traditional Planet 9. So over here, pause. Oh no, play, pause. So that's the original Planet 9. So this is 2.85 Earths. So again, I'm going to make this 2.85 Earth. There you go. Lock that. The mass of this should be around 10 masses of Earth. There you go. That's more like it. So cool. So that's 1.73. So if that other one was 2.85, we'll make this about 3 radius of Earth. So in kilometers, that's 19,000, which should be smaller than Uranus and Neptune. Ooh, it's pretty hot here. Right, so lock that. Put this back to, so what's that in masses of Earth? We'll put it back to around 11. Again, because I have no idea how masses this should be, so press play. Not sure why it's losing material, I have to say. What's that all about, eh? 0 degrees? That should stop it. There you go. So, it's in pitch dark anyway because we're that far out. So, planet X, which effectively means planet 10. But obviously, since Pluto is no longer a planet, effectively this would have ended up as planet 9 if it was ever found. So, you know, take that as you will. But yeah, effectively it was a separate theory from planet 9. So we'll have it as its own object. So, right. I kind of want to have this just in the edge of the sunlight. So roughly where Iris sits. So I want to move it closer until we just get a tiny bit of sunlight. So somewhere there. Maybe a little closer. Oh. There it goes. So it's right on the edge. And obviously we can incline its orbit a bit as well. So, or eccentric, I should say. So what we'll do is we'll sort of rotate it around, sort of matching the planet 9 one. So there you go. So it should still be in the sunlight where it is, which it is very, very barely, but it is there. We'll move it its closest point to the sun. It should be here. Was that its furthest point? No, that's the furthest point, wasn't it? As its closest point, so we need it there, roughly. Make the orbit a little smaller again. But yeah, somewhere there, just so it has a bit of sunlight, just to make it a little bit different. So there you go. So it is there, planet X. There you go. So nice. We'll give it a cool purple trail. Very cool. There you are. Yeah. Cool. So I think that's a good start we've got going here. So I think what we'll do is we'll call it a day here. I think we'll have to do a part 2 for this because we've still got quite a big list here. And obviously, guys, if there's anything you want me to add to this as well, any hypothetical planets that you think I should add, let me know. Just give me a rough description of what the planet should be or where its orbit would be located. Just a rough few indicators so I know where to sort of place it in this system. So just so you know as well, is we still got a planet 10 to do. As well. Then there's also one called Hyperion, which is another distant possible 10th planet. There's one called Hades. There's multiple planet 10 theories as well, so we may have to add multiple ones of those in. So yeah, some interesting ones in here. But yeah, if you guys got any other ones, I guess we could maybe we could add the Krypton in between the planet, like Mars and Jupiter orbits as well, because maybe that's a separate theory from the planet 5. So yeah, we could add that as well. But yeah, guys, let me know any more hypothetical planets or if any theories out there that I haven't mentioned just now. Please let me know, and we'll finish this off in a part 2. But with that all said and done, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of this hypothetical solar system, and yeah, let me know. What do you think of this? I think this is quite a cool idea. Again, thank you to the guy who suggested this. So that was Finian in YouTube. Massive thank you to him for submitting this idea, because this is cool. So there's our lineup so far of everyone. So Planet X, just a tad bit larger than Planet 9. Then we've got Counter Earth, which is slightly bigger than Earth. We've got Theia, the Mars-sized object. We've got Vulcan, it's a little smaller than Mercury. And then we've got Planet 5, which is all the asteroid belt contained in one object. So a little larger than Ceres. And I've got to say, Vulcan looks very menacing, doesn't it? That does look good. But yeah, there we go, guys. So that does it for this video. So if you enjoyed it, let's see if we can go for 60 likes on today's video, guys. And also subscribe for more. Help us on the journey to 30,000 subscribers. And we are just so close. Literally about 700 odd to go now. So if you haven't already, please press that subscribe button. I really, really appreciate it. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I cannot thank you all enough for your support. And yeah, we'll definitely have something special for 30k planned. But yeah, with that all said and done, guys, make sure you'll stay safe. Take care out there. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.